Action!
Don't give up. You always have to keep on trying. You've got to give it what it takes. Don't give up. There can be no denying failure to success. Who's too afraid? The burden we must carry can make us really. Don't be afraid. Through it all, remember you are no pretender.
Day of Miracles is about the real, true life stories of the miracle survivors of September 11th, when the New York Towers came down. And the testimonies are so inspirational, and hardly anyone has heard about these testimonies, and that's the reason we're doing this film.
We feel it's very important to take the attention and the focus off of all the doom and the gloom and the horrific events that took place.
And we feel like Day of Miracles
Yes.
is a reminder of how God really cares and He really saves, even in times of terrible, terrible, horrific earthly events. And so we just really think that message needs to get out there. We certainly are not doing this for any kind of exploitation of that event. It
No.
was just horrible. And we just want the Lord's message to get out there. He was there. He was there.
All right, scene 26, PET, take one.
And action!
Directing this film was quite a challenge, and it's a challenge that I certainly would have had difficulty living up to had it not been for the involvement of my partner here in Cinevision, T.J. Myers. But it's a funny story. I responded to the call from Leslie McRae asking if I would direct this, and I wasn't physically feeling up to par, but responding to her passion and knowing what the subject matter was, I said, yes, of course, I'll do what I can.
Well, number one, the executive producers, Richard and Leslie, the amazing faith that they had putting this project together inspired each and every one of us. And for them to go ahead with this project in faith before all the monies were in, before this project and that project. Leslie's like, we can do it. And she did it. And it was only through God that she did it. And I'm very honored to be a part of this project. And I'm very honored to play Dina. I went through a lot of emotions, and I tried to make the background so deep to touch people, to understand what she went through, and to help inspire others to live a life that now she's going on project after project. Dina is on inspiring others to live right, live good. And we had policemen and firemen. We had an ambulance out there, all dedicating their time to this project. It was so God-inspired, and just to be able to reach out and just touch people. And hopefully not just touch them, but be a part of their life forever, that they may change to be good. Because it may be the last moments. We never, ever know.
But there was a script. Leslie had written a script. But going through and trying to recreate so much of the drama of what had happened on 9/11 was one of the most challenging things that I've had to do because of the limitations, the parameters within which we had to work. Fortunately, Panavision was so gracious in allowing us to use their new HD 24 camera, which is an awesome machine, and in the visuals that we put together, a lot of it looks a lot like film. I don't know that I could have done a better job even shooting on 35, but we had almost impossible locations to work with. There was there's a mound of dirt. Now let's make it look like 9/11.
And the wind was blowing, and there was like an inch of dust everywhere. I mean, for camera lens, for getting in people's cars, clothes, it was crazy.
That's just what I was going to allude to. Now, as co-producer, you'd think that, and also the star of the movie, you'd think that she would just come in and when she wasn't needed on the set to say lines, she would be in her motorhome looking over the budget. But she had her sleeves rolled up, and she got dirtier than everybody else on the set. And no matter what it was that we needed, there was TJ there, whether it be throwing dust on the actors to make it look like they add some realism, or break the sets down, set the lights up, carry stuff, grip stuff, whatever it was, craft service. Here, want some coffee? You were just amazing.
Helping to build the
set. You were
set.
amazing.
Thank you. I paid him well for that.
Yeah, right. I was totally amazed by that. Not only was there no complaining, and I got to say this about the crew as well. In fact, the crew happens to be shooting this as well. I've never been so impressed with the attitude and the professionalism of a crew, and I hope to goodness that we can work together on other projects, because I would say, okay, let's do this and this and this, and they would look at me and kind of scratch their head and, okay, let's do it. There was never a talk back, never say, well, we can't do that. Camera's too big, and that camera was huge. That camera, it was the camera that George Lucas used in his making of the first Star Wars,
And what, it's like 75 to 80 pounds.
Oh, man. And, so
And they
when
had it sometimes on their
I
shoulder.
told them I want a handheld on this. Okay. So it was amazing.
And how steady and how beautiful the shots looked.
And then that commitment, I guess, was picked up by the actors, because digging through dirt and everything. I mean, we had some well-established actors out there that didn't matter what they did. Kimberly, for instance, was a beautiful young actress and very beautiful. She showed up looking very beautiful. I said, you got to crawl through all this crap with blood all over you and dirt and dust. Didn't care. Not a whimper of a, like, well, I don't want to, get that dirty. So the commitment of the actors, as well as the commitment of the crew and the commitment of everyone on the set, is what really made Day of Miracles come alive and make it what it is. And every one of us, I think, share in Leslie and Richard's passion. This is a project that needs to be seen, and it's a project that hopefully will change lives by changing people's thinking, changing people's attitude. Live today as if it's your last, and live in a state of gratitude for all that you have, and not think so much about what you don't have. If Dina could go back to the day before, and if she knew that she was going to lose Tom the next day, I'm sure and even now, I'm sure she's thinking about how grateful she was for what she did have with Tom, as opposed to how easy it is for us to get caught up in worrying about what we don't have that somebody else may have. And that's so silly.
Scene 26, PTA, take one.
And action.
Babe, my plane's been hijacked.
You're joking.
Oh, no, honey, I'm not joking. Honey, I love you. I love you. Tell the boys I love them.
Baby, our Father, who art in heaven,
Our Father who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come.
thy will be done
Thy will be done
on earth.
on earth.
I was able to act the part of Cece,
the lady in the plane as the plane was going down. And I personally am a widow, and I cannot even, knowing what I went through my widowhood, I cannot even imagine what the people who have gone through with our widowhood, losing family and loved ones, had gone through. And to be able to enact that part and feel just a small amount of what I know that they feel daily affected me just unbelievably. The depth that they went through, and the one thing that helped me get through my widowhood was my love for the Lord, and knowing that a lot of people through this event have come closer to the Lord to help them with their healing was important to me. I brought a lot of my own personal friends to be involved in this film, and the one thing that they all said is that the love and the warmth and the care that they received and that they felt, and the love for the Lord that they felt being on the set, compared to any other production company they've ever worked with, was very special to them. And it made me feel very, very good to be able to bring them into this wonderful environment with wonderful people to work with.
There were a lot of special moments for me during this shoot. One that sticks out in my mind is actually took place during the production of the demo, and that was the first time I got a chance to see TJ really act, and her performance was just very gripping to me, and it just captured my attention right away. And from that point on, I knew that it was going to be something very special.
I think the whole thing that started with me was I was watching Hour of Power, the Crystal Cathedral, and I saw Dina Burnett and her testimony. And I thought, wow, what amazing heroes. But when I started researching Dina Burnett, in case some of you don't remember their story, Tom Burnett was the one that actually motivated everyone on the aircraft to take the airplane down before it hit the White House during that time. And they were careful to try to take it down where there were no people underneath the airplane. And I thought, wow, that was such a neat thing. And he had a truly heroic military burial honored by the White House. And even though it wasn't in war times, they considered he would be a military hero. And as I started researching their lives, what really was exciting to me was both of them had the prophecy 1 year before that this was going to happen. He started going to Mass for no reason 1 year prior to that, and just God kept talking to him, and he was not a real religious person. And she had just had two little twin girls, but she also had a brand new baby. And while the new baby was in her arms in the hospital, the mother-in-law said, "Oh, well, now you have to have another one so you can have a son for Tom." And out of her mouth came, "Well, no, I don't think I have a Lord that would make me bring up a son without my husband being there." And she was shocked at what came out of her mouth. And so then they both started little by little sharing their feelings of the prophecy. And he said, "Dina, I'm so glad we've decided not to have another baby," because he said, "I really don't want you to have to bring up all these children by yourself. And I just know that I'm going to die young, and I don't know why, but it has something to do with the White House." And this was totally, just inspired me. And I thought, wow, God really talks to us, and he really does care for us, and he really had warned them. And that's why he was so cool, as cool as he could be, while he was dying and taking over the plane with the phone calls, the cellular phone calls between he and his wife. Because he knew that he had something to do, and that was his mission. And so he stayed calm, and he was one of the leaders as they got the black box later and heard the voices and taking over the terrorists on the airplane and saving the White House.
I share TJ's appreciation for having been a part of this project. And it's, although I've done a lot of things in my professional career, because of the dedication, the commitment of the crew and the cast and Richard and Leslie and Paul, who I couldn't have done it without, our associate
Yeah.
producer.
Paul was amazing.
Man, yeah, he was
He himself wore like 5 different hats.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
crossing all the T's, dotting the I's, and
Wearing the pajamas.
yeah, and the most important thing, making sure I had a hot cup of coffee. The commitment, the dedication of all of these people makes it even more of a project that I feel not only am I blessed to be a part of, but it's one of the things that I'm most proud of. So I'm grateful. There were many elements of this production that just totally impressed me. I've talked about the crew and the cast, and, the images that we were able to create. But what really impressed me the most was the passion and the commitment and the faith of Leslie and Richard. That's what really kept me motivated. That no matter how sick I felt or how much pain I was in, it seemed to be so inconsequential compared to the pain of what the people that we were telling the stories about, what they must have endured, and how important it was to tell this story. But the real importance of that was inspired by Leslie. And every day on the set, I would see nothing but this optimism and this faith. There was nothing that could discourage her, even though, like TJ had said, there were a lot of times when we went out there not knowing if we could feed the crews that day, and she'd say, "Don't worry about it. God will provide. It will happen." And so she'd send Richard out bird dogging, and the faith that he had to own. To just go out and do it, not just be totally discouraged and like so many of us would do, just stay in bed if things aren't going the way that we think it should, and to not be affected by all the people that maybe had great intentions and promised this and that, but for some reason never delivered, and not get discouraged by that, not say, well, it must be God's will that we don't do this. No, instead of that, just having the incredible faith, we are going to do it, we're going to keep going. That's what kept me going, to experience that faith day in and day out, and no matter how tired, no matter what the obstacles were, there was always that faith that said, "Hey, this is a good thing, and we are going to do it." And that's what got me to bring in TJ, and TJ got caught up in that faith as well that she alluded to. So. Again, it takes nothing away from the incredible performances of the actors, the commitment of the crew and the actors and everybody on the set. But again, if it wasn't for that amazing faith that all of us can learn for, if we could just have that kind of faith with everything that we do, as it says in the Bible, if he be for us, who be against us? And if you have the faith of a mustard seed, we're able to move mountains. And we literally move mountains.
American Entertainment Foundation is a nonprofit company that was formed 10, 11 years ago for the purpose of improving family values through the media. And it is our intention at this time to do whatever we can to have this film seen throughout the world for the purpose of bringing people to the realization that there's other things besides the doom and the gloom, and that they would be inspired, and hopefully they will change their lives.